Death, they say, is the only certainty in this life, but some daring, or maybe just lucky souls manage to outwit it as if they were the protagonists of their own action movie. Luck? Fate? Divine protection? Or was it just not the time for these people to go to the afterlife? Let's take a look at the stories and tell us what you think. Roy Cleveland Sullivan was not just any American park ranger. He was a man whose life defied the laws of probability. Working in Shenandoah National Park in Virginia, Sullivan survived an incredible 7 lightning strikes between 1942 and 1977, earning him the infamous titles of the Human Lightning Conductor and Human Lightning Rod. His extraordinary encounters with nature's fury led to his recognition by the Guinness World Records as the person struck by lightning more recorded times than anyone else in human history. Though he may have lived a life overshadowed by lightning, Roy Sullivan's end came not through the extraordinary force of nature he so often battled, but through a quieter, more tragic storm within. On the morning of September 28, 1983, Sullivan took his own life with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was 71 years old. On October 31, 2003, 13-year-old Bethany Hamilton went to Kauai Beach with her friend Alana and her friend's brother and father. Board in hand, she dived into the sea, and about 300 meters from the shore, when the water covered her, she sat down on the board to wait for the waves. There, while she was waiting for the waves with her left hand under the water, a shark attacked her and tore her left arm from under her shoulder. The wound the shark inflicted on Bethany was very serious, causing her to lose 60% of the blood in her body. Her friends carried her to shore so she could be transported to a hospital. Just that same day, her father, Tom Hamilton, was scheduled to have surgery for a knee problem, but the surgery had to be delayed due to Bethany's emergency. The doctor's quick intervention saved her life, but there was no solution other than to learn to live with only one arm. Today, Bethany remains an inspiration for many people. On January 26, 1972, a 22-year-old flight attendant named Vesna Volovich was not where she was supposed to be. She was cruising at 33,330 feet above Czechoslovakia, now Czechia, in a DC-9 airplane. But her schedule had been mixed up with that of another stewardess named Vesna, and she was subsequently placed on the wrong flight. But the mix-up was not so fortuitous as it seemed. A terrorist group known as Ustaše had placed a powerful explosive on this particular plane. While passing over the city of Surupsa Kamenice, the explosive device detonated. The DC-9 was torn into pieces, and the plane's wreckage, along with its 28 passengers, fell through the sky for 3 long minutes before striking a frozen mountainside. A German man, upon arriving at the crash site, found all the plane's passengers dead, save one. Vesna was lying half outside of the plane, with another crew member's body on top of her and a serving cart pinned against her spine. The man had been a medic in the Second World War and did what he could for her until further help arrived. Vesna died at 66 in 2016. Aaron Ralston is the protagonist of one of the most powerful stories of wilderness survival. In April 2003, this young mechanical engineer and mountaineering enthusiast decided to explore Blue John Canyon, a remote canyon in Utah, without telling anyone of his plans. A detail that would later make the difference between life and death. While descending a narrow crevasse, a 360-kilogram boulder broke loose and trapped his right arm against the canyon wall. Aaron was pinned down, all alone, with no way to call for help and limited supplies, just a liter of water, some food, and a utility knife. For 5 days, Aaron faced extreme temperatures, exhaustion, and despair. He tried to move the rock with all of his might, but to no avail. He recorded farewell messages on his video camera and carved his name and expected date of death into the rock, believing his end was inevitable. However, his survival instinct prevailed. In a moment of extreme clarity and bravery, Aaron decided to amputate his trapped arm with his knife, an act that took hours of unimaginable pain. Finally freed, he walked 13 kilometers under the scorching sun until he met some hikers who alerted the rescue services. Ralston not only survived, but turned his experience into a message of resilience. He published a book, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, and his story was made into the movie 127 Hours. Today, Aaron is a motivational speaker, proving that even in the darkest of times, human willpower can overcome the impossible. Fran Selak, a Croatian music teacher, is known as the luckiest man in the world for surviving a series of events that defy all probability and logic. His life seems like something out of an action movie combined with an absurd comedy. It all began in 1962 when he was traveling on a train that derailed and fell into an icy river. Although 17 people died, Fran made it out alive with only a few bruises and a broken arm. He was barely recovering when, a year later, he boarded his first and last airplane flight. A door failed mid-flight, throwing him into the void. Incredibly, he landed on a pile of straw and survived, while the plane crashed, causing several deaths. As if fate hadn't had enough, in 1966, a bus he was traveling in went off the road and fell into a river. But again, Fran managed to escape unharmed. During the following years, his car caught fire twice while he was driving. On both occasions, he escaped seconds before the vehicle exploded. In 1995, he was hit by a bus, but suffered only minor injuries. And in 1996, he avoided a head-on collision by throwing himself from his car just before it plunged off a cliff. After all this mayhem, in 2003, Fran bought a lottery ticket and won $1 million prize. He used part of the money to help his family and donated the rest. Despite his fame as the luckiest man in the world, he always claimed that his greatest luck was not to survive so many tragedies or to win the lottery, but to live a peaceful life with his wife and loved ones. Fran Selak is the perfect example of how an amazing life can be full of unexpected twists and turns, but always with a touch of humor and irony. These stories remind us how incredibly strong the human spirit can be. Which one of these impacted you the most? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories. See you soon!